I really am honored to be here. It has a lot of memories when I entered this room. That's good that you invited me. I'm lost because you are not inviting me. I rarely invite myself, but now that you've invited me, you see, I'm here and I kept time. So
you did.
Yeah.
And you know, I don't usually invite big people. So when did I become big?
Because he has not come take your transmitter. So
are you sure he has it? You must first wait and see when he leaves. That's when he has gone with nothing. That is when you feel safe.
No. When I came in, I asked him, my brother, now when did you start traveling like a prisoner?
Yeah.
He has a pickup and
I saw it outside.
Kanyamas all around. This used to be a free man.
Yeah, those are the entanglement of some of these chubicos.
That explains why I've not seen you at the gym in a long while.
Not really. Maybe I changed places.
Wow.
I changed from that upscale. I changed from his upscale gym to my neighborhood in Intinda, where I can easily walk and do my gym. But I was just saying that, the entanglements of some of these, when you occupy these cubicles, you just wake up when the IGP tells you that now you have to move in this manner. You have to be accompanied, and you have no choice. Yeah.
I feel bad for you because you used to be a free man.
Well,
anyway, let's come back to the election. You must be aware that Opondo won his own election. He's an MP to be.
Yes, sure.
Representing old people of Eastern region.
Sure.
So, and you as ED of UCC, what's your role in this election? Here on Capital Radio, we run very many adverts of UCC and so on. So you've kind of, you've kind of inserted yourself in the election.
I don't think so. It's business as usual. We are the regulators of the communications ecosystem. And as you know, communication is a platform for every activity you may think of in this country, world over, globally. Health, education, of course, elections. I've heard that this is going to be a digital election. We have to ensure that the network is robust to allow that to happen. Of course, we regulate the media, and you know the role the media plays in elections. Of course, our stakeholders, the people whom we relate to directly, whom we call consumers, other people call them clients, and of course you know that across the aisle, those people are called voters, so you can see the intersection there. Can I repeat that? Yeah. We call them consumers and regulator. We have consumer protection as our key mandate under the law to protect the consumers. But I was telling you that these consumers, other people call them clients, those are the operators. But the people in government and I think the Katanand group, they call them voters. You can see a very big intersection there between us and the population. With the 42 million active SIM cards, with the more than 15 unique numbers, which means 15 million, which means more than 15 million people in this country have phones. They need a network. They need a network, and they are consumers, and we protect consumers. So you can see what you call inserting ourselves into this election. To me, actually, is a statutory obligation that we are there to facilitate the process. I know that the consumers need us, the political parties need our services, government need our services, security need our services, and elections are exceptional times when a lot of anxiety, a lot of excitement. This is a time where, as a regulator of communication ecosystem, you need to up your act to ensure that whenever you are called upon to act from individual consumers, they are not denied services. The operators are up to the game, like the radios and TV. They have been playing to the rules more than another time. So it's an exceptional time where all of us are pulling our antenna up to ensure that we do things correctly. So
and you have not felt that you can leave it up to them, that you can trust them, because generally speaking, the media in Uganda has a lot of self-censorship.
Yes, and we appreciate that. Self-regulation is really a regulatory canons, which we appreciate. But I have a statutory obligation also to regulate you. You know very well that much as you self-regulate yourselves, you don't license yourselves. You self-regulate yourselves. Yes, you monitor yourself at a certain level, but we cover that gap. We appreciate that because we cannot regulate. If we put it on a continuum from 0 to 100, we can only do maybe from 60 to 100, and that's very, very important. There must always be a big brother watching, but we appreciate the self-regulation through the NAB. Is very, very important, but you know how much resources we put into this sector to train you people, because we have these regulations which you have to be highly functional literate about, so that you don't break the rules. When you self-regulate, you must be aware of the rules of the games. For example, I've been shouting myself hoarse, telling you that election results are not a news as usual. It's not just news like you get in the news that the dog bites man on the street or man bites dog on the street. It's regulated news. That's why we have somebody who had the mandate to out these results. Like we have UNEB. That's what I've been saying. We have UNEB examination. You even, however investigative a journalist you are, you can't go to a marking center, peep there. You look at Ofono Pondo that is doing history number 2. He got 20 out of 20 number 2. You come and publish that one as news. Even if when you do that, it can cause a lot of problems. What happens if Ofono Pondo, sorry to use your name, my brother. That's why I didn't use Katana's name and Kaija's name. we are comrades because they can't see.
Does the Honorable Nyombi Thembo realize the confession he's making?
That's why now, if he failed all the other 3 numbers, when I had leaked that he got 20 out of 20 in one number, it can cause a lot of excitement on part of Ofono Pondo. Say, what happened? But it's possible that you get 20 out of 20 number 1, and all other numbers you get 5 out of 20, and you fail that paper. That's what I've been telling you. Please, the only results that you should really put on your networks should be results which you get from the Electoral Commission. So this is just to sanitize the whole ecosystem, to make it a bit more hygienic, and I think you appreciate what we are doing.
I don't know whether we appreciate. You see, let me point out to you that you're extremely stressing what's known, what's the normal. So what I'm saying to you is perhaps you don't need to do that, because you come across as if you are threatening some people. And when Ofono Pondo sees you as his comrade, and we all know that you are NRM to the core, so when you give out these announcements, you can come across seemingly that you are threatening opposition people.
Why should doing things right be a threat to well-meaning Ugandans?
Because what you're saying is not new. It is what is expected. It is, no one announces results in Uganda.
No, it had been happening. Let me tell you, people have been putting up tally centers.
No, and they copy.
People have been they haven't been doing that. I have a lot of
people for somebody to say I have gotten my DRF form from a polling station X, Y, Z, and I add.
That's all you're allowed to do. You cannot
do it as news.
No, I'm saying having a tally center to tell. So we should wait to
tell you what's coming up.
No, you're allowed to have your tally center. I'm about the radio station and the TVs.
Yeah.
You can't tally, because tallying results, because you're a licensed operator. You're a licensed operator. Tallying results is a constitutional mandate of Electoral Commission. If you tally, and you keep your result, who cares?
Yeah.
But if you tally and announce, announcing is the role of the Electoral Commission.
Let me ask. Do the question? You know, you make contribution.
Yeah.
I have you.
Yeah.
But you know, Mr. Nyombi Thembo, there's one person at a polling station who's allowed to announce the result, and once that result is announced, it is declared. The only time it can change is court. So anyone is allowed to repeat what the polling officer have said as the form that has the result. I don't know if you're aware.
If your interpretation, let me tell you, no. I mean, you're a legal entity. If your interpretation is that a polling station is the Electoral Commission, so by announcing results at the polling station, you picked it from Electoral Commission, you can go ahead. If I have my different interpretation, we'll toss it outside in court. Of course, I have my own interpretation, and I'm putting it clear. Next week to refine what I'm saying as a regulator.
Let me give you the example you used of Ofonopondo. So Ofonopondo has been declared as unopposed and soon to be Honorable Ofonopondo, and is even teaching us how to say Honorable Ofonopondo. So I am saying it on radio, saying it clearly, because he has been declared. So Nyombi Thembo of UCC cannot threaten me or refuse me to say that Ofonopondo has been declared winner as MP Eastern for the elderly.
But obviously, Oscar, that example is totally different from what we are discussing.
No, that's
because
what we are discussing.
Ofonopondo is final results. Was declared by the Electoral Commission. It's final.
Yes.
What I'm telling you are looking at 57 polling stations in the country. You start to declare results of one polling station, and for you, I'm picking it from you and Kaija, you want to interpret that as the final results of that polling station, and that one can now be announced as one polling station.
Yes. I can say that.
But you haven't tallied. You haven't tallied.
That Ofonopondo has one Molanda one.
The problem is, what verification system do you have as a radio station, as a TV station, to verify that what you have given is the actual result? Those people at the polling station who listen to the presiding officer, they are there.
Yeah.
For you as a radio, you are not there. Yes, I'm telling you, you are not there. I know your capacity. I know your reporters.
Yes.
I collaborate with the council which regulates the journalists. I know how many journalists you have. How many journalists do you have that will cover 57 polling stations? You are going to rely on people who are going to call you. How are you sure that the result they are giving you from polling station of Kiboba in Kasanda is the true results? They are not misinforming you. How are you sure that you are not spitting out misinformation? That's why I'm saying it is safer for you to pick these results from the returning officer, from the Electoral Commission. So that's why I'm saying, and I'm cautioning you, and by extension, cautioning the radio owners, the journalists. But if you have that very unfortunate interpretation I see coming up in this room, it's very, very unfortunate. You'll have that interpretation. I'll have my own interpretation, and I know by the time, let me say this clearly, by the time we go to court, I'll have your transmitter. I'll be having your transmitter. I'll keep it from there.
This is where, as I told you, Mr. Nyombi Thembo, this is where you come across as someone who's threatening over nothing. And the returning officer is an Electoral Commission officer. Once the returning officer declares, and they all sign, the parties sign on it, that's an official document. I agree with you, and many people will agree with you, that a radio station will not have enough information to tally a final result. But they can say that the returning officer said Ofono has won in Mulanda 2.
Who is telling you that? How are you getting that information?
Scan, whatever, these things.
And you are sure? You are sure that is true information?
Oscar, let me give him some.
Do you see the risk you are taking of misinforming the public?
I now realize that Nyombi Thembo has never protected votes. He has always been a big man contesting, and then he only gets results. I thought he would come with the written laws of Uganda. The Electoral Commission law.
He has ever been a contestant.
Yeah, he contests. You know,
so
when you
contest,
yeah, you have VIP up there. The people go and collect results. Where they bring for you results. Our law says one of the DRR forms must be put on the notice board at the village. Check the law. Even as yes, where everybody can see it. But what happens is these guys get that DRR form and go with it.
In fact,
so if you get access,
Kaija, in fact, Okulonda will tell you in their elections, some returning officers who hid with those forms were arrested.
Yes, but the law says that form must remain at the polling station, or the village could be having a notice board pinning up.
Actually, you're supporting what I'm saying.
No, so that is what Oscar and radio go and say, okay, this is what has been declared.
When at 7:30
at the end of
vote counting starts at around we are stopping at 4.
Yes,
so it starts at 4 plus X minutes, somewhere there.
Yes,
4 plus X minutes. So possibly it will end at around 6 when this one. And this information put on practically
put on the notice board.
Then
Oscar sees that information, sits on his microphone and says, "You see, at polling station X in Nansana, so and so has what."
I understand that. I understand. That's why I said, yes.
You guys made.
You could take that risk. Take that risk of interpreting that a final result. That the result from a polling station
not a final result.
Is a final result, and you can declare it on a polling station. I'll have my own interpretation, and I'm going to clarify that one on Tuesday. Okay. I'll clarify that one on Tuesday.
But and also, you need to change the language you use for media people, because the media person has no authority to declare a result. I can report here that Ofonopondo won in Mulanda 1. But I can even.
And I think what we should know is that the emphasis was put on tallying.
Yeah.
Tallying. Only one person that can
tally.
You
cannot report.
If you are reporting, you must report results from the Electoral Commission.
Yes.
You are telling me the interpretation is that the presiding officer at a polling station could be taken to be Electoral Commission.
Yeah.
I'm clarifying that one on Tuesday.
Yes.
Yeah.
And by the way, you've been in those situations, and once that form is signed and filed, it is not changeable.
Well, you may take that risk. I'm clarifying that one on Tuesday.
Okay.
You can take that risk, but what I'm cautioning you about, phone call journalism can cause you problem. Using civilians who are not even trained in journalism. You don't know, somebody will read 101 as 110. Somebody is going to read 100 as 1,000. And you want to take that risk.
I think it doesn't happen.
It happens. It happens a lot. It happens. We have examples.
Where Ofonopondo was seated, because he could not have gone to all his polling stations on the day, he was seated and receiving information. So he receives information. You have one Mulanda. Which other one did you win? No, sorry, you didn't. No, but the primaries you won at the primaries level. So he was receiving phone calls and receiving phone calls. And that's okay. He could have been telling people that I am leading, but it is not decisive.
I don't know what that means.
Indeed.
Yes.
No, I think what they intend to do is that let the radios on that day play music as they wait for Mr. Byabakama.
You have a lot of news. You have a lot of news to pick on that day.
And you see,
which is not regulated by Electoral Commission. Yes.
A serious NRM cadre being made UCC boss. I said, I cry for this country. You see,
why do you think he can't do it?
No, he can't. Why because you see, he's a supporter of, actually not even a supporter, he's a member of the NRM, a mobilizer of the NRM. I have seen him on his ex, literally actually campaigning for the NRM. And he's very proud about it. That's why, you know, he's threatened that you are going to tell people on a polling station X, so-and-so has won, or so-and-so has been defeated. Because I think what he would be saying now, you guys get somebody to scan for you a copy and you have it. No, if you have the scanned copies and then you start reading them through to the listeners, now he's telling you have some other news. So play music.
I agree with him, Harold. I can agree with him on saying you're reading the scanned copy, as you've seen with his nominations. And
for me, that is what I'm proposing.
Yes.
He's not proposing that. He's telling it's not your business. You wait for Byabakama to tell you the final plus to aggregate and tell you the mathematics. That if you're not, what to tell you?
Officer has a returning officer.
Declaration.
And he has a declaration.
Declaration.
But
let me, Oscar.
But you see,
hold on 1 second.
Yes.
Oscar, worldwide, we've been following elections.
Even in Uganda.
No, worldwide.
Worldwide meaning what? Meaning what? Because people talk about worldwide.
No, globally.
We benchmark a lot.
And they show you what is happening in this place, what is happening in this place.
Globally where?
Why are these guys scared?
Globally where?
That the media.
Hold on.
Why are these guys scared that the media should inform the citizen? Actually, he's even using the military language as it's civilians. So it should be the military to announce the results, because the opposite of civilian is the military to him. So and they are looking at this as an operation which they must not lose, which they must win, and when you dare say a word. Yes, so
Oscar,
I am announcing on Tuesday.
Oscar.
I'm going to squeeze in Benjamin here before.
Because he said global. I want to clear that one off because here all of us benchmark the US.
Well, I mean, we had it in Kenya here.
as a top.
You can use Kenya.
I won't use Kenya in whatever I'm doing. I won't benchmark Kenya. I have my own reasons, and I don't think you want me to do that. So I will benchmark America for you, because America. The Secretary of State, of a state, is the one who had the mandate to declare results. You know that? Every state has this a gentleman called the Secretary of State, who can be Republican, who can be Democrat, no problem. CNN and all these other, they have to link into that portal. That's where they pick results. They don't declare results from polling stations. They don't. You never had them doing that. They pick results from those constitutionally mandated to do so, and that's what I'm telling you to do. We can refine a few details, and that's why I benchmark. That's why I'm here. I'm listening, and I'm hearing something very, very important to me when you say, but here is this presiding officer at a polling station, has declared, and your reporter is there.
Yeah.
He is even recording him. Are we not allowed to broadcast that? That's what I'm clarifying on Tuesday. Yeah. So really, I'm not threatened of anything. No, I'm just sanitizing this ecosystem.
Before Katana comes on.
And Ukaija's session of talking of NRM cadres and jobs, you will get problem deploying people in this country if you.
This is what I'm saying. You come across as a superpower who is going to declare on Tuesday whether you take away the license or not. These are normal things. Just say
they are not normal. Yeah. They are not normal things.
Not the first election.
No. Not normal things. Election days. Election period is a very emotive times. That's why we have to do things right. We have to do things right, lest we cause confusion and chaos. We know that some people enjoy the chaos that can emanate out of that, but that's not our objective. Our objective to ensure that our licensed operators play to the rules.
Okay.
Yeah.
The Benjamin Katana, then Ofonobano.
Thank you very much, Oscar. I think the challenge with my senior brother here is that first of all, as a regulator, he should be mindful of two things. One is that he's doing that job on behalf of the people of Uganda, and therefore is accountable to the people of Uganda, not to a few. even when he was appointed, even the one who appointed him was exercising a mandate given to him by the people of Uganda. And therefore it is important that even when you are emphasizing your power, you do so by making reference to the law and the parameters. Otherwise, the threats to take away the transmitter and what, they leave you in a very bad place. Because I think we are just struggling with two. One, the distinction between the rule of law and rule by law. Our colleagues here from UCC, if you have listened to UCC, to police and the rest, are struggling to find which law to use to control the people. Not what the rules say, but because you see, when you look, for example, at the question of tarring, the law places the mandate on electoral commission, but it does not take away the right of other Ugandans to say, we know for a fact that at Kamocha, Kaija got these votes, this is what has been declared. At Ntinda, he got these votes. It doesn't take away that right. It only gives, and by implication, when electoral commission is a duty bearer, it means that its results will be relied on as final and official. But it doesn't take away the right of a radio station, for example, to communicate and say that at Kamocha, Kaija got these votes, Katana got these votes, as declared by the returning officer. Yes. But because they are more obsessed with controlling information that goes to the public, they are more they are looking for where to base themselves to control media houses from sharing information as collected from the polling stations. If anything, if you want to say that radio stations should only broadcast information they have former obtained from polling stations where they have agents, that is a reasonable argument. But for you to say that they shouldn't be doing that, they should wait for the final results as announced by Electoral Commission, I think that is a departure from the law, and you are clearly moving towards the direction of Paul Muwanga in 1980.
And I was trying to give him that is the impression.
Yes, and number two, especially when that is looked at in the context of the rhetoric
and is to be Paulo Muwange when you're not with the Electoral Commission, yes, but with the UCC.
Yes. When I think even when if they were not sure that the Justice Byabakama would be able to do what they want to do, they would say the CDF will be the one to announce the results. But because they are sure that you will do their bidding, and when you look at the pronouncements coming from UCC, which clearly are outside the law, you look at the pronouncements coming from the chairman of the Electoral Commission and his team saying people must vote, must leave, the people who are sharing information must be arrested relating to these elections, must be arrested and charged like they have done with the Sarah Beretta and the arrest probably soon. And the rhetoric coming from police, from the army, you see that clearly there is a conspiracy to ensure that there is no transparency in these processes. They are operating from a background of guilt because maybe they have sat somewhere and they have agreed. The Electoral Commission is going to play this role, UCC is going to play this role, the army is going to play this role, but in a conspiracy that is intended to defeat the will of the people of Uganda. And I think that that the people of Uganda should be able to look through that and call them out and not allow to be, and you can see clearly if you listen, for example, to the end of year speech by Ofono Pondo's candidate and by extension Nyombi Thembo's candidate, you see that clearly they are trying to manufacture a crisis to justify deployment of violence, which has already been witnessed in these elections. That after they have manufactured the results, then they will have the reason to send the army and the police, like they have been doing, to beat, shoot, and say, no, we are trying to maintain public order and security, so that they can be able to force people to stay in their houses. They know after 1 month, the anger will have boiled down, and they will continue doing whatever they are doing, whether there is legitimacy or no legitimacy. And when we ask that people, that are charged with the responsibility to enforce the law, like my brother Nyombi Thembo here. This is not only aimed at helping us, but helping them as well. This country would have developed, but the challenge we have when government changes hands, the people who have been trying to do something meaningful run out of the country on account of how they have used their offices. Now that the gains are lost, so we want you to be able to do your job in accordance with the law, so that if tomorrow the president is of Onopondo, you have no reason to run away, to go to Kenya and leave the businesses you have started here, the homes you have built, so that there is continuity and continued progress. But if when we are charged with the responsibility to run public offices and we use them against the people to satisfy the whims of a few individuals, and Kaija here has spoken about the cadreship of Nyombi Thembo, and I think for me it wouldn't be a problem. The challenge is the absence of the presence of mind to know that even when you are NRM, you are now charged with a public office that is clearly not partisan, and that can be deducted from conduct, not from what you say. If, for example, today the Chief of Defense Forces, who clearly has been showing that he's partisan, says all media houses people should be taken for this training. Now, the ED of UCC, they responds and says tomorrow, he even follows up with a meeting as if UCC has no strategic plan for 1 year or 5 years. They are waiting for a powerful person to say tomorrow this is what should happen, and it happens. I think by doing that, even, and he was talking about the posts on X and wherever, it does not inspire confidence from members of public who do not belong to NRM, that while your history does not matter, that where you are now, you have accepted that you have a public office to run that requires you not to be partisan, and therefore you're doing it for the people of Uganda regardless of where they belong politically.
Thank you.
The last point, Oscar, before you switch me off, is about the yes.
When Thembo has brought language of switching off.
Yes. when for example, when dealing with
talked of switching
when
off,
dealing with the
that's a creation
when
of
dealing with media houses, when dealing with
and
media
Oscar.
houses and even these private broadcasters, the bloggers and what have you, clearly there has been a trajectory where the people, you can call it which you term as abuse, or that they have gone beyond the limitations. When the attacks are on the NRM people, members of the First Family and the rest, these people are arrested and dealt with. But on a daily, there are these broadcasters who have made it their business to threaten people in opposition with death, threaten their children with death, and use all sorts of unacceptable language against members of the opposition. And they continue to do so without even a public caution from UCC. Clearly, that does not reflect impartiality. Yeah, and the very last one there is, by his confession, the question of self-censorship. If we are interested in building a democracy, free press and media is one of the key tenets and pillars of building democracy. But if not on account of violating the law, but on account of offending UCC, the media practitioners are always mindful of what may offend UCC, not what may offend the law. And therefore they restrict themselves because the media owners are being threatened. I think sometimes it does not augur well.
Benjamin.
Yes.
Sometimes self-censorship is good, depending on the situation. You have to have like responsible reporting.
That's why I emphasized, Oscar, that self-censorship should not be on the basis of what may offend UCC or not, but what may offend the law or not.
Or consciousness.
Yes.
But can I clarify, because he has raised a lot of issues.
First make a note.
Okay.
Let's make a note. I have a phone number here. I have Fred Bamwine, and this year has also come late to Mwalimu's class. You're most welcome. And in fact, Fred Bamwine is the one who should listen mostly to Nyombi Thembo, because his people just go in and switch off radio stations and TV stations. So you need to clarify a lot better.
The RDCs?
RDCs. Oh, they can be a menace.
No, they're our stakeholders. They're our partners.
When you make those announcements, beware what you're telling Bangui.
We work closely with them. I'm not shy to say this. We work closely with RDCs.
I must caution
we
you.
We work closely with the police, like any other government agency. Because
I must caution you. Here, JB, who I know in South Africa, says it is clear that Nyombi Thembo is not a regulator. He's a manipulator of election results. His role is to manipulate information to advance the narrow interests of the NRM candidate. Well, he didn't advance yours because you are through already. But what I put to Nyombi Thembo here is, why have you inserted yourself in the election?
No. UCC.
Go to the microphone. Oh.
UCC, like other government agencies, in the law, have responsibility and obligation. Our expectation as the public is that they will live within the law. Of course, occasionally they may do rough shoulders, but there are mechanisms to challenge them. If Nyombi Thembo acts in a manner that the law does not prescribe, you can challenge him administratively and through the judicial process. What we need to acknowledge, unless we are blind to the facts, there are bad actors in the public. In this particular case, in the election, we have had many cases. We even had a candidate who declared himself winner contrary to the election results, as you have acknowledged, was declared.
And an attempt to swear in.
Not just an attempt.
It was sworn in.
Swear in. And for 5 years he said he was the people's president. And yet that fellow said he was living within the constitution. In the constitution of Uganda, where is the provision for the people's president? That's the Kaija's former candidate. Now, I think all of us need to exercise restraint and even common sense. Of course, sometimes, I have been in the government before, we kick up dust for no good reason. Take the current case, where somebody says, waving a flag, why should people wave flags? Uganda flag. And say, why are you kicking this storm for no good reason? And let people who want to wave the flags. They didn't prevent you from exercising ingenuity. I mean, some of those things we don't need to. Now, coming
when we go to Nambole, by the way, Uganda, we try it, but when we go to Nambole, we all go with the flag.
Yeah, and nobody tells us to carry. Right. We carry them ourselves. Yeah. So sometimes I think
and wave them
from the government side, we kick up some for no good reason. Now, in the particular case of Honorable Nyombi Thembo and UCC, I think out of experience, he's cautioning with the public and particularly organized groups under his authority, the media houses. Please take care of what the law provides, what even common sense would provide. Now, there are the people I described earlier on, bad actors. They read and conclude bad faith on the side of Nyombi Thembo. But Nyombi Thembo is acting on historical records that we have had media houses in this country that have conspired, deliberately so, planned with the candidates to announce results or challenge even without providing evidence that the electoral process has gone bad, is tainted. Currently, let us look at the trajectory, the narrative of the media, of the candidates who are being disqualified. The media is arguing as if technicality, they say, why are you disqualifying somebody on technicality? But technicality is part of the law. Now, what are they going to do with the results? We all know, we may not all know, but those who have intelligence you can challenge the credibility of the intelligence, but know that there are bad actors who are planning mischief on polling day or prior to polling day, with the polling process, and soon after. And I think Nyombi Thembo is taking a cautionary approach that please don't let your bad intention mislead you to a bad end. And so for me, I think we all need to exercise that restraint. I wouldn't read bad faith on the side of Nyombi Thembo. I can probably read overzealousness and maybe failing to explain his intent properly. That's how I would categorize him. The zeal with which he is doing certain things, maybe, but not bad faith. And we have had elections in this country. Honorable Harold Kaija, with more than 72,000 polling stations, 42,000. I don't think it is practically possible, and it is not the line of NRM. Yes, we may misbehave, but it's not the line of NRM to undermine the electoral process. Yes, we do some bad manners, but it is not our objective to undermine elections, because we are the ones in charge of the country. So, I want you to give assurance to Ugandans that the NRM government is planning for a tranquil, respectable electoral process and outcome. We fear nothing.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, we fear nothing. First of all, we are very sure.
Do not present yourself as if you fear something.
Yeah, we are very, very sure that the NRM is going to win this election. The president is going to win this election.
So there's no need to beat up Kaija.
There's no need.
Yeah.
There's no need. And I've said on this show, those policemen, those soldiers, some of them, by the way they behave, they discredit the victory of the NRM.
How about the behavior of Nyombi Thembo?
The overzealous one. Yeah. Which people are reading as a threat.
So it's in that category.
These media houses, by the way, some of them are discrediting themselves by false reporting. The false reporting by some of the media houses. If you look at media houses, 2 of them that have taken clearly a partisan line, a negative narrative, you don't see their headline crediting NRM or President 7 with anything. Those ones are just discrediting themselves. We don't even need
but
to
there's also one that is clearly NRM.
We don't.
Honorable, there's one that is clearly NRM.
Yeah,
headlines and everything.
Yeah,
so that is very legal in this country.
It is very legal, and that's why, personally, I have no issues with them. I am simply saying those media houses, media outlets like that, they are simply discrediting anybody who tells public lie. They are discrediting themselves because. Certainly, 15th is coming,
yes,
and the result will be clearly out there.
Often, you know how I usually arrange this panel. I don't like it like today. I usually want the panel to have more opposition than an NRM.
In any case, opposition are in the minority.
They are in the minority, so they
more
seats. And NRM is going to win, which I apologize to Katana and I tell him that NRM is going to win.
It is going to rig, maybe. that's a more accurate assessment.
So there's no need to beat Katana.
No, there's no need
to beat him, and that's why I give him more voice.
Katana, NRM already has 17 members of parliament elected, including yours truly. Yes. Tell me, if in those constituencies you are going to win, tell me.
And you've denominated some,
by the way.
And you've denominated some, and
I hope I'll have an opportunity.
You will have an opportunity. Now, I was adding to Ofonopondo. Send that microphone. I was adding to Ofonopondo that you've denominated some, and some have stood down.
They are denominated through the process of law. By the way, campaigns, even persuading Katana's candidates to step down from it is part of the campaign process, electoral process, and it is legitimate.
I agree with you, and that's how you should put it.
But then they should
not other ways. Let's go to Fred Bamwine here. Once again, welcome to to gang, Mr. Fred Bamwine.
Why did you promote Bamwine to the gang?
Well, you people
When he became an MP.
when you became
When he became an MP.
he's sitting in for you.
But I meant that well. Yeah.
And yes, it was vented by you.
When you became an MP. So, Fred Bamwine, I put here to Nyombi Thembo that by inserting himself into this election, he's energizing the likes of Bamwine and your fellow RDCs who march into TV stations, radio stations, switch off radio stations, and especially when they're hosting opposition members. And they've been doing it regularly.
RDC should be suspended. But in this election so far, this campaign, so far we have not had an RDC walking into a radio station. They should go and the person should be suspended if they pull.
If they do that,
But Oscar,
But first say that, is that correct? That this time round you have behaved?
you know, this office of the RDC have been there for longer.
But you first go with this yes or no answer. Is it true that this time round you have been behaving? Your people have been behaving?
It's not only this time. We have been behaving. That's why the country has reached here. So, Oscar, I want to appeal to you, yourself as a moderator, to interest yourself on the roles of an RDC.
Sure, they don't include switching off radio stations.
That's why I'm saying I would wish to entrust you to know the roles of the RDC. The major responsibility of the RDC are four functions. One, representing central government and the president. Two, chief government monitor of all government services in that district. And I think election is part of government services. And three, they are chairpersons of the district security committee. And for those who have read about security, there is nothing that is not security. Therefore, the RDC is a chairperson. And when he is a chairperson, it means he has an infrastructure staff who do the donkey work. And he has a technical team, even if you are not, because there is no way they teach somebody to be an RDC, apart from orientation. So there is this impression of thinking that the RDCs are robots, enter station and switch off. No. Any decision in a district is taken on the advice of intelligence or district intelligence committee to district security committee. And once the intelligence estimates indicate that, for instance, Capital Radio is breaching the law, is about to breach the law, they contact.
That's a very bad example.
Okay. Then they are in touch with the UCC, and once UCC has checked and found that this radio is breaching the law, it is not the responsibility of the RDC to walk into a station and switch off. No.
It is UCC's responsibility.
The RDC is a commander. How can I just walk in? There is the infrastructure, there is police, there is all the apparatus of government. So, but work together. Because at the end of the day, why should we work together? The safety of Uganda and Ugandans. There are some people who think that because we are in elections, therefore the country is stopping on 15th. And there are those even who think because the elections, government has gone on leave. No. Much as elections are going on, campaigns are going on, government is running. And it will run even on election day and after elections. So the responsibility of the RDC as representatives of the president and the central government is to make sure that much as you are enjoying your rights as a candidate or a campaigner, don't infringe on others' rights. And that's why people want to talk about rights without talking about responsibilities. And that's why the law says, no, there's also a responsibility. Even talking, somebody speaks recklessly, he doesn't care whether the country goes on 2 frames. That's why there are legal regulations. That's why there is infrastructure of government to make sure that Mr. Nyombi Thembo UCC, once they guide, I was surprised when you said there is self-regulation. Me, I'm still a foot soldier, as they say. There are some media houses whereby a person on the mic every day is campaigning for a certain candidate on a daily basis. And he's a moderator. Or he's a, how do you call it? Those who sit behind the mic. Every day.
And it breaks the law. But they are there. They are media houses. I know them.
It's supporting his
What I know,
that's when it breaks the law.
what I know, the weakness of NRM, they don't complain so much formally. They hear, they say, if they were reporting that Mr. Fono, who works on this radio, every day is castigating a certain candidate A, I can tell you most stations would have closed by now.
Castigating is not acceptable, but I can be like a moderator here, and I said it repeatedly that I support Ofonopondo, Abdul Katuntu, Semuju.
As a moderator?
It is so Ofonopondo.
You can take a stand.
But if I castigate, I took a stand, but because he's a gangster.
I don't know. I mean,
but if I castigate his opponent,
yes,
then that's not acceptable.
So
sometimes I even invite their opponents. But
that one is okay. I'm saying in your normal operations.
Fred, even when the opponent is there, I tell him, I invited you, but I support Ofonopondo.
Fine.
Yeah.
But what does the law say anyway about people who are practicing media in the Ugandan law?
My stand is okay. It is not.
So anyway,
Fred, there's no law which says a journalist, somebody behind the mic, cannot take a stand.
No, using this mic.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's not written anywhere.
Even to incite the count.
Supporting.
However, every media house has internal
Exactly.
editorial policy.
Yes.
Editorial policy. And that's why somebody sitting behind this mic ought to follow.
Yes.
So just pause there for a second. We'll go for a break.
Are you annoyed?
No. We must get a break. It is not so easy to annoy me. Welcome back from the break. This is the Capital Gang. Plenty of discussion, but in a calm manner in the break.
Yeah.
Fred Bamwine was on microphone.
The other DCs in the district, you can say they are a stabilizing factor, whereby once you have a DS, it has all the stakeholders.
What is DS?
District Security Committee.
Okay.
You see, Mwalimu, you have also to go to another class.
No. This, as a moderator, you need to clarify.
District Security Committee. Almost all district stakeholders are there. Then at times you invite subject matter specialists, depending on what you are discussing. This election process, you invite candidates and they may send their agents or themselves, depending on what you want to discuss. Is it the location of a rally? Is it the designing the route match? So the RDC is in the middle of this meeting to guide. And once a decision has been taken, then police goes ahead and implements what the District Security Committee has decided. But they don't work in isolation. If there are some other DCs who may go beyond their mandate, it could be there, by the way. Then you can report them. And they are held accountable of what excesses have been committed, but after listening to them. Because also accusations have been high. You have this RDC whose all candidates want him to help them to go through, all of them. And it's not possible. So this one will choose you, this one will choose you. But the question is simple. Was the RDC taking full responsibility of his mandate? Can he explain to the population why a certain decision has been taken? I think that's where we need to go. But RDCs, one time in Kampala here, there was an argument when we installed traffic lights that there was no need for traffic officers. I remember the former Inspector General of Police, Keihura, removed traffic officers in the evening. And people reached their homes in the morning. So if you want to know the role of another DC, remove that position in our laws or in a district. That's when you know. That's when we're going to a district now. There are 3 or 4 leaders. There is a cow, there's chairman LC5, maybe DPC. You can also talk the DSO and the RDC. But I can tell you, once you go to the district to find people where they want services, majority of the people, you'll find a line at the office of the RDC. That means there is confidence that when they go here, they get the service that is required. And So I would wish to.
Sometimes you work on wrong intelligence.
How is wrong intelligence?
Because the CDF himself said that sometimes you have wrong intelligence. That sometimes even intelligence you manufacture it, and I think someone is in prison because of that.
Mr. Oscar, the foundation for security of this country, if you didn't know, is based on the population. The first intelligence office in this country is a civilian. And that's why we have structures up to your home. Within your home, we cannot fail to get information from your own family members. And that's how this government has managed to survive. So intelligence is not built in the sky. It is picked from the population, their workings, their what, and once it is processed and found it is credible. But if intelligence was wrong in this country, you know, having a government for 40 years, it's not by accident. It's by design. And it is those processes that have managed this country, this government to reach here. And we wish to say we mean well for everybody. But when we make wrongs, we also admit and correct ourselves because we are not angels.
Thank you very much.
Yes. Yeah, we return to you.
I think a lot of issues have been.
I've walked over with
a lot of issues have been raised.
I invited him, so I
but it looks like we are agreeing, at least the majority of us, that the regulator, the regulator cannot insert themselves in this electoral process. We are part and parcel of it. I think we are agreeing on that. Even those who may not want to listen to that, we are part and parcel of this process. Nobody invites us into this. What we do automatically gives us a table, not only a table, but a front seat in the whole ecosystem, because this is a massively consumed service, the elections, and the communication, the platform that is used in mobilization, in rallies, in whatever you say. So we are there to stay. Reading bad intention from me because I have a history of being a cadre. I'm a cadre, I don't deny that. I'm an NRM person, I don't deny that. But I follow the law. Actually, I invite people who may think that what I'm doing is illegal to go to court. I'm not the final person. You can go to court and ask for a permanent injunction on the directives I've given. The court can put them aside and I'll abide. I've given these directives in writing to all licensed operators, the radios. It's now 4 months. Nobody has ever attempted even to if you think it's illegal, you go there. So don't read bad intention on me. I just want to see that the electoral process is smooth. I want to see that the licensed operators, radios and TVs, are not used to propagate misinformation and disinformation during the electoral process. All of us know that misinformation and disinformation is a key killer of elections credibility world over. We know this. So there's no regulator that will leave it to pass just like that. You have to follow the rules by the law. So don't read bad intention. Being overzealous, no problem. Because as you know, overzealousness is showing too much energy or enthusiasm in pursuit of a cause or an objective. Nyombi Thembo, you know me. I'm not a stranger in public service. I've been in public service for 37 years. You know, every deployment I've had in public service, I'm sure that exceptional energy
from RDC.
Yes. At one time, I was the youngest RDC in this country. So I
hope you never switch.
I will always show that much energy and enthusiasm in pursuit of an objective, a credible objective, a statutory objective. And in this case, we want hygiene. We want electoral hygiene. And one of the key areas where this hygiene can be compromised is the media. That's why we are alerting the media. Let us play to the rules. And I call upon the media practitioners, Oscars and your friends, please, if you think that we are crossing the line, even before you go to court, come to me. My office is one of the most transparent offices. Actually, the door is just there for the sake of it. The doors are open. Come to me and say, hey, brother, I think we are crossing the line.
Threatening us.
No. I'm not threatening you. I'm
when
telling
we come
you.
To see you, will say, stop threatening us. We have been working very well.
I'll just tell you that I'm not threatening you. I'm just cautioning you. I'm just asking you to play by the rules. So, what I'm doing, if it's wrong, I have no regrets, but I'm just expressing
I'm from
my regulatory mandate.
I'm from a teaching
loudly.
Nyombi Thembo.
Yes.
From a teaching world, we say it is no longer acceptable to come and put four canes above the blackboard so that people listen. So
no. In legislation,
and they will work very well.
Legislation is a process. We have self-regulation. We have moral suasion. We can persuade you. But we do those two with the legislatory hammer. It should always be there. The hammer should always be poised. Otherwise, what's the intention of a regulator? So I'm not threatening anybody.
Okay.
I'm just asking you to do the right thing. If you don't do the right thing, I'm coming. If you don't do the right thing, the regulator is empowered through the law to do certain things. Regulatory interventions, those include so many things.
Fair enough.
But including cancellation of license.
I'm also assuring you that a lot of media houses do the right things.
We'll come back to you. Sure, I know that. Especially Capital, Radio Capital. No, let's say this one loudly. I'm a regulator sometime, but we are saying now the best practice in regulation is to pat the back on those people who are complying. Pat them on the back loudly. And I'll do this in this studio. Without, of course, causing anti-competitive situation. Well, Capital FM, you are trying your best. And we appreciate that as UCC.
Fantastic. I once met a teacher who refused to give 100%. They gave 98%.
Yes.
You are like that, say you are trying. Just say you are excellent. There are many words you can use.
Thank you.
But let's go to the next topic. And Kaija and Fonofonda and Samuel Amsoke. We'll first ask these two men about the road that takes them home. And I know both of them have big cars. So the other night, were you stuck on the road? You couldn't come back to Kampala? You couldn't go around PG area? What caused it, Mr. Fred Bamwine? Let him share intelligence.
By the way, that means Katana is very far from power. Because intelligence is not shared.
I don't want power for the takeover.